Hi, it is another video from Sacred Uprising Institute, and today our video that we're going to be doing is called The One. It's my series, and I'm looking forward to sharing the information and the knowledge and the wisdom that I have for you. So we're going to wait a few moments for everybody to come and join us, and in the meantime I'm going to be sharing this video on our other sites.
Yes.
So just give us a minute. Christy will perform while I'm doing this.
For my first act, I will be sharing the video to my page.
There you go.
Ta-da! That's so funny.
Just give us a few more minutes. Somebody was watching.
We're just setting up right now.
We're just setting up. Just give us a few moments and we'll be ready for it to start. The dog doesn't work though.
Oh.
Okay, hopefully that'll work out okay.
Who's here? Todd. Hello, Todd.
Okay, so I'm about ready to begin. I'm just sharing everything. And I am done. Okay, so thank you for your patience. And we are going to begin. So, once again, thank you for joining us for Sacred Uprising. We are a collective platform for the spiritual and life transformation. It's a one-step oasis for continuing expansion from beginners to masters to beginners again. And
Yeah.
today is my video. This series is called Calling in the One, and when I do this series, Christy has been very generous to sit here. It's much more interesting when it's a conversation rather than I'm sitting in front of the camera talking to the camera. So I think it adds a little bit to it. I want to just make a couple announcements. First announcement is please go to YouTube and subscribe to Sacred Uprising. If you do that, if you miss the videos, as a subscriber, you will be notified when we have new videos, and those videos are downloaded 24 hours after the live video is completed. In addition to that, if you subscribe before a week from tomorrow, that you will be the possible winner of a beautiful $50 crystal. And it's going to be it's a quart crystal.
Yes.
So I also have made another promise that if a friend of yours that you referred to them to go ahead and subscribe, if your friend actually referred you, they will win something as well.
Yeah.
So don't want anybody to miss out on anything. So there's a lot of great things going on. As far as we have our logo, you'll see that on YouTube. Here soon we'll have a big logo behind us that has Sacred Uprising. The conference is going to be in September, and we're just fine-tuning all the details. My co-founder Jill and I both will be doing a video in 2 weeks, and that video is going to be our story. We've been friends for I think 22 years at this point. And so just to talk a little bit about our story, and we will be sharing why the call that we had to provide this platform. I'm very conscious that this is not a platform that is about any one of us individually. This is a platform for God to speak through us. And so anybody that is part of this platform has a surrender to their spiritual journey and has a beautiful surrender to all that is. I have a very difficult time calling it God now, because that makes it separate from us. So I'm starting to move towards all that is, and I think I'll keep explaining that as I call it that, so people have an understanding of what I'm referring to. So today's talk is about calling in the One. Last week I gave you my story, kind of like the overview of my journey of going through the calling in the one for me was a love relationship. My partner, my beloved, I won't even say my other half. It's not another half any more than the sun is the other half of the moon, but they reflect one another. And that's what my desire, my great desire was, to call into my life, into my universe. And I talked about the type of men or relationships that I was calling in at the time, to where I was a year and a half, well, it was longer than that. It was a year and a half journey of inner work, right? Yes. And she was here, Christy was here for part of that inner work, yes, where I was tearing myself up every single day. I was going deep. I was doing the work because I so desperately wanted my divine other half, but I didn't want to call in somebody at the level of spiritual, the level of healing that I was at the time. I think that's the best way. Like when you spoke earlier on your video about turning the dials, I was on a lower set dial, and I didn't want a man that was the vibration of that lower set dial, because you have to become whatever it is you want. Yes. So I wanted to go on this inner journey to change, to transform, transmute what I was at the time, which was beautiful and wonderful, and it was perfect for me at the moment. But I wanted to transmute it. I wanted to transform it. I wanted it to be in its most pure form that I could be. So I would call in somebody of that vibration, and that is what that's what I accomplished. That's what I did. You saw the transformation. Yeah. You saw the change. You saw what I was doing. But there were things that she didn't see, because the work. Most of the work, when you do your inner work, it's quiet. It's in your quiet moments. It's cuddling up to your shadow. It's detachment. It is transformation. It is, it's becoming what it is that you want. There's so many different steps, and none of them, I'm not going to tell you that this is the very first step, but I'm going to talk about each one individually, and that's what this series is about. So today is about detachment. So let me ask you a question. So when I say detachment, what does that mean for you?
Literally, I feel like for me, detachment means I am standing on my own. To be honest, I feel like detachment is me with me, and being apart from everything else. It's isolating.
Yes, and that's where you have to do the detachment, is that isolation, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's interesting because I forgot about this and they just reminded me, so I'm going to give you a visual for this. So I had just started this journey of detachment, of inner work. We'll call it from the inner work. And I went hiking. I love climbing. It's a great passion of mine. And in 2016, I went out to Red Rock Canyon, and I went to go climbing. Well, I was walking, and I had my earphones in, and my earphones died. Like I had no more. I hadn't charged them, but they were fully charged. So I stopped. I took them out. And I was listening to music, and I turned it back on, and I started walking. Had I not done that, there would have been a big issue. I started walking, and I was going around a corner, and as I went around the corner, a rattlesnake came out right from the rock. Had I not stopped so ever briefly, I would have been right in its pathway. And I was like, what the heck is this? And it freaked me out. I'm not the biggest fan of snakes. I know, yeah, you yin and yang here. My 16-year-old said, Mom, I want my next tattoo to be a snake. And I'm like, oh my God, we are not even discussing that. But with snakes, I mean, they shed their skin. And so I did research. I actually stopped climbing and I went home because I was so freaked out. But then I did research, and nothing crosses your path that isn't supposed to and isn't a sign from the divine. And so I looked, and it was about transformation. It was about change. It was about detachment, because the snake actually still had the skin on it. It was detaching from its skin. And so I was seeing that, and I knew that I would be obviously going through some detachment. However, I also was like, I think that maybe because of the dark night of the soul, because I had lost so much. But it was really significant for this inner work I was doing to call in the one. And as I've stated before, the one has a name, and his name is Charles. So the detachment for me, family. that detachment started long before my inner work did. It was actually part of my spiritual journey. My family, I always felt that I was put on their doorstep. I never fit. I didn't belong. I couldn't be who they wanted me to be. I felt very controlled. And I'm not just talking about my parents. I'm talking about siblings made me feel that way as well. And the thing is, when you're not standing in your truth, you tend to lie. Yeah? So when you feel you're not safe in your truth, when you do not have the foundation of truth, you try to become whatever it is people want you to be, so then you're like a balloon floating in the wind. I ended up there were several things going along with this. I had to detach from my family, meaning I do keep in contact with some of them. It's not the physical attachment where I have nothing to do with them. It is the detachment where I don't care what they think. This is who I am. Yes. I own it. I like it. If I screw up, that's on me. You don't get to judge me.
Absolutely.
And I just had, on my birthday, I had an issue with somebody in my family, and Charles looked at me and said, babe, it's not your problem. Just don't let it ruin your birthday, let it go. And I said, yeah, you're right. And it was letting go. So it was letting go of my family's perception of me, I think is the best way to describe it. And that's a hard thing to do, especially when you have a controlling family, any type of family, but a controlling family. That's hard to do. But I had to detach from not only my family's, what their perception was of me, but the outer world. And as a Leo rising, that's hard to do, because the Leo rising, it's about how you want people to view you, yes, right?
Yes.
So that was difficult. I had to not care, yes, not dishonorably, not maliciously, but be so secure in my truth, it doesn't matter how I'm perceived.
And what I'm seeing as you say that is Leo rising. Leo is ruled by the sun. And the sun has a very important role, and then the planets are going around it. So imagine if the sun cared about every single wobble that each planet does, and it's like, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
You're supposed to be doing this because the gravitational pull of the sun, right? No, they need to do their own dance, and you need to do what you do as the sun, as the center, as the way you do. So right, that very much is a need for that detachment. You just need to be the sun. You don't have to control the planets. The planets will take your energy and do what they please, with it.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. Yeah. I had to detach from other people's perceptions. I had to detach for what people thought about me. I had to go, you know what, I'm sorry, I don't have time for everybody. I'm sorry, you may be butthurt because I inadvertently did something, but it was never about, you're making it about you. It wasn't about you. It was just how life was at the moment. So part of my calling in the one was detachment of other people's perceptions and what people wanted me to be. It doesn't mean that I didn't care about those people, but it did mean that I put myself first. Not in an ego position, but in a self-love, self-care position. The other thing that I had to detach from was the lower vibration of who I was. Now, we talked in the earlier video about where we are healing our birth chart is like taking a dial and you keep upping the dials on that circuit board to go higher and higher. I brought this with me because I've had this ring since 2010. It's a beautiful ring. It's from Mexico. I wore this every single day, literally every day for 5 years. And I love this ring. So in 2015, it might have been 2014, 2015, for some reason I stopped wearing it. Well, I think it was 2016, I went back to put this on, and I couldn't wear it. I literally could not put it on. So if you hold this, you'll see the difference in the vibration. Yeah, you'll see the difference in the vibration. So, and the reason why I couldn't wear it is because when I put it on, your energy goes into your home. It goes into your jewelry. It goes into your belongings. It goes into your crystals. It goes into everything. That had so much of my energy in it from who I was before I did my inner work. So when I tried to put it back on, I was very aware I felt the old Trisha. It wasn't a bad Trisha. It was not good or bad. It was different. And so I had to detach from that old energy. And to do that, what do you have to do? You have to do a lot of inner work. And you're not going to get, it's just like with your career, you're not going to exceed in your career. You're not going to move forward in your career unless you put in the work. And it's the same in our personal lives. If you want to call in whatever it is that you want, you've got to put in the work. And my work was 24/7. Maybe it was more like 36/7. Okay, because I was going through different dimensions too, right? So, but you've got to detach from who the person people told you that you were. You have to detach from who you thought that you were. You have to let go of your expectations for who you want to be and just allow the flow to take you to where you want to be. I could not, there's no way I could ever construct my life right now. A year ago, I could have never said, so she and I were talking.
I'm still, I do feel vibrations and energies when I touch things, and I need like sage or selenite or something, because I actually, honestly, what I felt is a lot of pain, heavy pain, and now I understand what you're saying. Like
I don't put it on. I can't do it.
I would.
Yeah. So she and I had a conversation before we started this video, and we were talking about, and I just lost my train of thought now. We were talking about what some of the messages that my guides gave me, even just recently, and the things that they said before when I first got my last job, right?
Yes.
They said to her that she has nothing to worry about. She's going to be totally taken care of. Well, we thought that had to do with my job. I was doing really, really well with my job. It was great. I had financial abundance, but that's not what we realized later that it had nothing to do with their job. It had everything to do with being in this space with the one, where I am financially provided for, so I can do my work, so I can do my mission. And my contract with God was, you have to provide for him so abundantly so that I can do my work. And that's what's happening. It's just, it keeps unfolding. In fact, he called me, he's out of town, he called me last night, and this whole new amazing opportunity has just come out of nowhere for him. And so that's what's happening. You know, the Bible says, exceeding abundantly above all we ask or think. Our thought process was, she's going to be making a bunch of money and she has nothing to worry about. But no. See, we are part of the universe, so therefore anything that is in the universe is infinitely ours if we call it in. Yes. So where I thought on my human level, my mere human mind was, it's my work, it's my job, it's my career that's going to be providing for me. Not understanding that God had something so much greater. All that is, we'll call God all that is, because God that word just does not fit what it is in the universe for us. But all that is was saying, no, there's so much more. It's exceeding abundantly. So we say we want abundance. No, exceeding abundantly. Something way beyond the word abundance is for us, for me, for you, for everybody.
Yes, and if I can add, actually, just so that you can see it, it's not just in one place. I mean, even this week I had a client, she put her faith in like that the universe would provide for her. She felt that she needed to take a step and put money into something that would help her. And the next day, she literally tripled sales in her job, and she got a huge tip, and she's like, "Oh my God, Christy, I put my faith into this step that would help me, and the universe came back and blessed me right back the next day." In my own life, I'm like, how am I gonna do these things? And with your faith and trusting the universe, trusting in the God within you, and calling in the power of the universe and love and just everything that you know is yours, universe steps up and blesses and multiplies, and you tap into the universe's blessing. So this is something that is totally accessible.
It's not just calling it, like, again, I want to say it's not just calling in the one in a romantic relationship. It's calling in the one for a career, which is what you're doing.
Yes.
It's calling the person that you were talking about. Calling in the one for her was to have something happen that would transform her life in that moment, right? So I'm just taking the steps for how I called in my beloved, and we can apply it to other areas. But you have to detach. So you detach from your expectations.
Yes.
If you don't think the universe can provide it for you,
It won't.
it won't. But also detach from what you think you know about the universe. Because I gotta say, I think, I know that I know just a sliver of what is, infinitely ours. But even that sliver, I have to detach for how I think it's gonna go. When I get visions, when I see things, and I tell Charles this all the time, you have to let go of how you think it's going to be constructed, because the universe has something much greater intended than what we can imagine. And sometimes they show me mice, and I had to look up the symbolism for mice, that they're working behind the scenes on your behalf. So understand, just go with the flow. Don't get stuck on the details. Just allow the process to take place.
That is perfect.
The other thing I had to detach from was old debts.
Yep.
And get an amen on that one, right? So, damn, that was hard. So, but
Amen. Here,
yeah,
I'll
but
validate that for
right,
you.
right. But the old debts, it's not just talking about financial debts. It's talking about karma debts. It's talking about our, the things that we have, our words, our promises, those debts that we've made that we have not owned up to. And the only way to detach from those, I'm sorry, is to make good on them, or to ask forgiveness for them, or to make things right. So we have to detach. There are levels, there's so many layers of detachment that we have to make to call in the one. I had to let go of old relationships. Friends, we already covered family, but friends and ex-romantic partners. And so let me go into each one. I think each one is important. I had ex-boyfriends that I said, oh, we're just friends. And some of them we were just friends. Others, there was an ego boost. It was, oh, see, this person still has to be around me. Oh, this person still wants me in their life. It truly was an ego boost. How am I going to call in the one? Will I still have cords tied to people that I was romantically involved with? I'm sorry, you can't really... It can happen, but you got to start cleaning house. You really have to start. You can't keep running back to the man who no longer serves you and think that you're going to call in the newness. So let me go into that. If you want to renovate your life, if you want to renovate your life, renovate your love life, renovate your career, whatever it may be, you got to clean house. You got to take out the old couches. You've got to tear down the old shades that have dust and grime on it. You have to get rid of the refrigerator that has all this old food and the gunk on it. You've got to clean house. You've got to tear things apart. And it's going to look messy. It won't even look like what you had hoped and dreamed. And you're going to be like, oh my God, I can't even live in this house.
Yeah.
But you got to renovate for it to be restored.
Yes.
And it won't even look. You don't have to get a brand new house. We can't. We're in this physical form. We can't get a brand new house, but we can renovate our homes. Layer after layer after layer, physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, we can renovate and let go of those old attachments. That old couch that has silverfish in it, it's time to take it out, right? If the bed, you can get rid of it. It's got some bed bugs in it. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Because you want to bring in the new. So I did that. I got rid of them, and she knows. I mean, it was painful, and some because I still had that umbilical cord that they were my power. If I was going to call in the one, I had to stand in my power. I had to be my truth. I had to detach from everything that I could possibly do to become worthy. Although I was already worthy, I was always worthy, I had to rise to the vibration that he was so I could attract it into my life. I had to become, once again, I had to become what it is I wanted. I had to become love, and I had to become of his matching vibration to call it in. So if you are still sleeping around with everybody. If that's what you want, then right on, go ahead. Right on. I'm all for it. However, if you want to call in the one, then how about save yourself for the one? How about save yourself for yourself? How about seeing yourself sacred, divine, and holy, and that you're only going to welcome in the ones that are deserving of your temple? How about that? Again, I don't see anything wrong with being with people that it's somebody that I know described it really beautifully. She said she doesn't want to get married, and she said everybody is the creator in a human form, and she enjoys. It's not just screwing around. It is she is having experiences with other forms of the creator.
Yeah, like
so
soul connection. Like
vibration. So it could be a one-time experience, but she does it. It's her intent in it, which is different. So, but I had to break free. And I remember I did it on. I did it with several guys on a bunch of ex-boyfriends. I deleted them on Facebook. I went to the ones that I was in constant contact with, said I'm done talking with it. I'm not doing this anymore. And I made room. You can't bring in a new couch into your living room if you still have the old couches. How many couches can you fit in a living room? Really, think about it. So you have to detach from that. Yeah. One of the other experiences I had was detaching from friendships that no longer served me. Again, I had a best friend, somebody that I had been friends with for 9 years or so, loved her very, very much, but we were on the same path at one point, and then we kind of went in different directions. And one of the things she said, we're no longer going in the same direction. I said, yeah, I am not the one that did a U-turn, you did. And it wasn't a matter that she was wrong in making a U-turn. She didn't want to be on the spiritual focused on her spiritual path anymore. She wanted to, talk tile and paint colors and things like that, which I'm all about. And I do that even though I'm on my spiritual path. But she made a shift, and that was fine. That was perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong. I mean, there was no fight or anything, but we determined that we were finding that there was this energy block in our friendship because we had a choice, she had made a choice. And so I had to walk away. We talked on the phone, and we both knew we had to walk away, and that's what we did. And I'm grateful that I did, because once I did, I found that more people were coming into my life, more like-minded people. The universe will give back to you exceeding abundantly above all you can ask or think when you give up what no longer serves you. It will replace abundantly what you walked away from.
That reminds me in the video that we just did earlier, how you were like the spiral this way, but they're going the opposite way.
Yes.
It's not that it's wrong. It's just that's their path. That's their journey. And honoring that is so powerful,
right?
And that's beautiful. That's the right way to do it, because when we do soul contracts, we have the energies that we said we're gonna meet up for this certain time, and we're gonna work on this, and then there'll be a point that we detach. Well, high vibrational people will do what you did.
Yes,
peaceful, understanding. Hey, I love you. Have a great life. It was wonderful. You taught me so much. The lower vibration will be that chaotic.
Then
like,
it's
you
a
hate
fight.
me. You don't love me.
Right. Yeah, I had another friend. It was a year ago, November. It was the same thing. She's very high vibrational. She taught me so much, and I love her dearly, and I'm forever thankful. In fact, her birthday was yesterday, and she was with me through the Magdalene Mantle. She was with me through all of this. But then we came to a point, and we both knew that was our contract, and it was over. Now, yesterday I texted her and said happy birthday, and she responded, but we're not in that daily contact. We're not flying to see each other anymore, and that's okay too. Yes. I honor the time that she had. One thing, and we're going to go into, this will lead us into the next one. I learned that everything is borrowed. Everything, even relationships, everything is borrowed. And I had to come to Oh, it was one of the hardest one. I had to come to that. I had to accept that with my belongings. I don't want to get into how I lost everything because it's somebody that could actually watch this, but somebody hurt me and betrayed me horrifically last spring. And every single belonging I had, all my children's toys, everything I ever owned, ended up at Goodwill. At least that's what I was told. And I had to make a decision in that moment. Was my relationship to my things more important than my relationship with a human being? And I had to, it took me about a month because I knew my guides told me that that had happened. And so once I made that decision, I called that person. I said, I know what you did. And I was right, but I decided that my relationship with where I can give love to somebody was much more important than the belongings that were always ever borrowed. Mm-hmm. And I had to come to the understanding that and honor the time I had those things. Honor my grandmother's jewelry box because at least I had it for 20 years. To honor belongings that were like they were purchased out of my soul. The baby pictures, everything. I had to honor the time that I had it and go, it's okay, because it was never really mine to begin with. God gave it to me to have during that time. And that was a very, 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 for someone who loves interior decorating, that was a very hard lesson. Now my children still have an issue with it, but I had to be okay and go, okay, I have to detach. I've detached from those things that no longer serve me. And just like this ring is a reminder, that energy that's in this ring, I can't wear it. And maybe the energy of all my belongings, maybe they wouldn't have served me anymore either. So in God, all that is, in its infinite wisdom, decided to eliminate all of that in my life. And I've received abundantly, above all I could ask or think, what I have now. And I would not trade all those belongings for the man that's in my life that daily gives and gives and gives and gives. And just when you think there isn't anything more that man can give, he gives some more. I wouldn't trade it. So, so we have to detach. We have to detach from, again, feelings, emotions, heart, physical belongings. We have to detach, and I had to go through that process. Detaching from thought patterns and spoken words. I had to realign my thought process with a higher learning. I had to read. I had to be in meditation. I used to listen to meditations. One meditation, it was a cord cutting meditation twice a day. I had to keep detaching to make room for this exceeding abundance that was coming into my life. I had to also detach from control because I wanted my life to go in a certain direction. I knew what Spirit said, and it had to work out exactly this way. She knows what I'm talking about. I had to detach from that and go, you know what? I can't take control because I keep fucking it up. I can't do the control anymore. So Spirit, come in and just take it. Just take this. Because it was just like the surrender I did in my vision where I got on my knees before God and I lifted up my hands and I said, you've taken everything from me. And all I have left are these ashes. But if you want these ashes, you can have them too. You have to detach from your thought patterns of how it was all supposed to work. And then you detach from traditional beliefs. What you were told you were supposed to be, who your parents told you you were going to be, the religion, or even the spirituality that you thought that you were supposed to ride on that wave. You detach from those traditional beliefs of where you're supposed to live, or the career you're supposed to have, or the type of education you're supposed to have. You detach from all of that, and you detach from the expectations that you think that those things are going to bring to you. I detached from a lot. It was really putting everything on the altar.
That is perfect. That's perfect. Put everything on the altar.
Put everything on the altar for the one, whatever the one is. Even your love of self, put that on the altar. Put on the altar what you think you want in a man or a woman, what you think you want in a career. Put it all on the altar and give up control. I thought I wanted something in a man, and guess what? Oh, I'm so glad that all that is had something so much better for me. It exceeds anything that I ever thought was possible. It is, Tiff has made a couple comments. Tiff has met Charles. She has been a beneficiary of his kindness and generosity. My children have benefited from his kindness, generosity, and love. Christy, we are in this house. It's a house of love. And we try to demonstrate that in every way, in every action, in how we treat people. Even the way it's funny. I mean, the way he treats our animals is hilarious. I mean, oh my God, the way he treats the animals. He sent me a video last night of he's in Northern California right now. And he sent me a video. He ran to the store at 11 o'clock at night to go give a stray cat food. I mean, this is what this man is. Charles is, I swear, he is the light in human form. He is, I never knew that it could be like this. And if I had not detached from my expectations, I would have received what my expectations were. Thank God I let go of my expectations.
And I'm over here like, yes, because I saw the process. I saw what her expectations were. I even had to step in there and be like, wake up!
She did.
And thank God that I've been able to witness this, and I'm here to say, yes, she, holy crap, revolutionized where she was a year ago that we met to now. She totally detached completely and let God take the wheel.
It really, if you take all of what I said and you put it into one word, put it in just one sentence, detach from your control. Because in our mere human minds, we can't even comprehend what the infinite has in store for us. If we are the universe in human form, everything that is of the universe, the infinite abundance of the universe is ours too, if you call it in. If you detach, that's just one step. If you become what it is you want. So what is it that you want? I wanted my beloved. I wanted my Solomon. I wanted the quote that I have tattooed on me, I found the one whom my soul loves. That's what I wanted. That was everything. That was in every thought, my move, my spoken word, my footsteps. It was in what I spoke about. It was in my aura. It was in my heart. It was emanated from me. I became what I wanted, and that was agape. It was in the infinite love of the universe in human form. And I literally have received that. But what is it that you want? Do you want financial abundance? Is that what you want? Well, stop giving detach from your expectations of how that abundance is going to come.
Yes.
How's that? You might think it's just going to come from the career that you're in. Maybe it's going to come in a different way. It's an infinite universe working for you. So give up, detach from how you think it's going to, or even the control. How about, friend, you want a best friend. That's what my daughter, my 6-year-old, she really wants a girlfriend. She really wants a best friend. But the thing I keep telling her, she has so many blocks that she won't go out and, even ask these people that like her at school to come over and hang out. And when they do, they're like, why didn't you ask me before now? Well, that's her block. So how about detach from your fears? Oh. There you go. How about detaching from your fears or your lack of self-worth?
That's a big one too.
Yeah. Or detaching from what if you want a new car. I know one of our friends that are watching right now, she got a car and it came in a way that was so mind-blowing that she didn't even have to buy it. She took over the payments. Awesome. Detach from that. Your expectations of, okay, well, I got to go to a car dealership and find a car. Detach, detach, detach. Detach to the point there is nothing left and your home can be restored.
Wow.
Detach where there is not a thought left of how things should look or should be.
Wow.
And allow the imprint of the Creator to call in what you deserve. I told you that when I was going through this process, my grandmother came into me and said, we have to clear your heart chakra because there is an imprint of your father which is drawing in that type of man into your life. And we had to clear it so there was nothing left. It was just bright white light. Just clear that out so that the universe, all that is, the infinite, that's a great, the infinite of all that is can put its imprint on you and say, this is what you deserve, and now you're going to call that in. Let go of every belief that weighs you down. Let go of those energy blocks that constrict you. Take the handcuffs off.
Yes.
Take the blinders off. And just stand naked before all that it is and say, I'm ready. I've come to you in wholeness, and I am requiring wholeness in return. And I guarantee you, if you ask for wholeness, if that is what your goal is, do the inner work, and that is what you will receive, exceeding abundantly.
As you're speaking, I'm receiving images of the vibration of the words that you're saying, the message you're giving, and all I can see is I saw three things. Number one is, in my personal journey, I had to detach from my whole life in Miami, from everything. And with full faith, $600 and 2 suitcases, I moved to a city I had never been to. And I had a week on a friend's couch. That was my detachment. I knew I had to fully detach. And when I came here with no expectations. I literally did not know my next step beyond that week. And in 3 days, universe brought Trisha in my life. And that's how I got my roommate. And every step, every moment, I was just open to the possibility. I got a job at a swap meet, flea market type place. I was there, and then I was just letting it be. And then, it just flow. You flow, it flows, and you flow together. That was the first thing I saw.
Well, before you go into the next thing, that what you were saying, when we actually literally take steps in our lives, if we don't think about it, we can walk much easier. That's why when we go on the balancing beam and we're staring at it, we fall, right? Because we're too focused on it. When we drive, we don't look at the pavement right in front of our car. We look out to drive. And it's the same with you. When you're walking by faith, not by sight.
Yes.
I know. I saw your excitement. Yes. When you walk by faith and not by sight, the flow goes much easier.
It's amazing.
There's no expectations. You're just like, okay, I'm just walking. And the goal is to get to the mailbox to go get the mail. But you're not thinking about every step.
Yes.
Or it's, that's how you do it. And my goal, I did get hung up by looking at every step. I'm not going to say I didn't, okay? I did. I think that's natural. But if looking back now, I can go, I was too hung up on every detail, but now I know when I want to call in the one in something different, okay? So then to learn, okay, don't get hung up on every step, Trisha. Just, this is the goal. Yes. Now, universe, let's just flow.
Yes, and then the other one was, taking that step of detachment is literally like walking to the edge of a cliff and going, God, I'm going to jump, I'm going to do this, and I know you're going to catch me. And literally, when you jump off, you're like free floating for a moment. Then you're like, okay, how is this going to happen? And then, in your trust and in your faith, like literally, you grow wings. You grow your wings. You find your strength. You find your power, and you start learning how to truly fly and take control of those steps, so that God can guide you. He's the air beneath your wings,
And He is the wings, and He is you, and He is the cliff, and He is the ground you're going to land on, and He's the flowers you're seeing as you're floating down, freaking out. I mean, He's all of it. He's all of it. It's there's so many ways to detach. Detach from your fear of jumping.
Yeah.
I did that when my guides told me that I was supposed to go climbing, and I was like, what the? Because I had a fear of heights. Well, I love climbing now. I have no fear, and my boyfriend's just like, oh my God, I gotta Trisha-proof you, because I'm like climbing like, I do things I shouldn't do. So it's detaching from fear. It's detaching from everything. Yeah. I would say detach so much that you go back to wholeness as when you were born, before everybody told you who you were. So when you came through that portal and you were born and you left and you let out your first cry, become that again. Be open to everything. Be in that pureness of that moment. Be whole again. Detach from it all. Detach from every cord that was put on you from the moment that you took your first breath. Detach.
Yes. Because
the universe has infinite abundance for you in the form that you desire. Because you would not have that desire if it wasn't God's desire. Because He is having a human experience as you, as me, as you, as a collective, as a mountain, as a stream, as a brook, as the ocean, as the whale. And He would not give you that desire if it wasn't what He wanted to experience. My desire was my beloved. That's been my whole life. And I went down so many roads, but I went down those roads because my vibration was low. And as it kept notching up, I kept leveling up. And it's okay to be at whatever it is that we're at. That's perfectly fine. And every path is the path to the divine, because even the path is the divine. Yes. So be kind to yourself, but detach. Stand back from your life and just see what does not feel good to your spirit. If it doesn't feel good, in love, not anger, not malice, in love, in generosity, and in honor, just detach. You don't have to give explanations. Stand in your truth enough to know that you can say no and not give an explanation, and just detach. Because when you detach, you make room for what it is that you actually are deserving of. So that is that's our first one. Next week we'll have another step in calling in the one. But before we go, Christy and I, oh my gosh, so we've been talking, and I was like, oh my God, we have to shut up already because we have a video to do. Yeah. But I wanted to bring a couple things. We talked about, we have different Bibles. So, some people have like what we refer to as a Bible. I have many Bibles. We both have one. We're twinsies. This is called the Book of Knowledge, the Keys of Enoch. Enoch is one of my guides. And this book called out to me. This will be one of the books on our website that we will be referring to. We'll give a link where you can purchase it. I do not recommend that everybody just runs out and buy this, okay? This book is, to many won't understand it. But when you feel your spirit calling out to get it, that's when you get it, yes. Okay? This book will speak to you in many different ways.
It's amazing.
There are secrets within the secrets. It is. It will. She was reading some of the passages from it, and I told her you have to stop because I want to astral travel right now. So stop. I got a video to do. Yeah. So I do. So this is called, once again, the Book of Knowledge, the Keys of Enoch. But we do have some other ones that I do recommend. For those of you that are looking for love, want to become love, want to call love in many different forms into your life, A Course in Miracles is a great book to start with. This is, Marianne Williamson does a smaller version of this, and I forget what it's called. I forget what it's called. I should have brought it, and I apologize. But this is the original book. And it's A Course of Miracles. Marianne Williamson teaches this. You can see this. I know that Oprah has done some things on it. You can even go on YouTube and see some videos based on the Course of Miracles. So if you can't afford the book, you can at least go and learn about it that way. So I do recommend this book. I probably maybe once or twice a week, I'm going to do some book recommendations. As many people have been asking me, what books do you recommend? So is there anything else I can do to detach? Somebody messaged me, and I still have yet to get back to that person about detachment. Is there something I can do other than videos? So I'll be making some recommendations as we do these videos, and they will also be on our website. Our website, I just had a meeting this morning about it. It will be, we are hoping it will be totally revamped from a week from Friday. Don't hold us to that. We're still working through it, and there's a lot that we have to get done. But we do have that. And once again, please go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will put you we'll put your name into the collective for who's going to be chosen for that quartz. Yes. And then one other thing, I always have everybody tell me. Yeah,
I was gonna do it.
I know, but I remember because I always forget. So I always ask the people that I do the videos with, how can people get in contact with you? So I haven't even talked about what I do with people. I do counseling sessions with people. They are intuitive counseling sessions where I'm talking to your spirit and your guides and provide you information and work with you on that level. So you can get a hold of me on Facebook. You can message me. Please feel free to do that. I am more than happy to work with people. I do have on Sacred Uprising some information about that service, that mission, that heartfelt calling that I have, and you please feel free to contact me. And we will have on the website as well all of our teachers that are part of these videos. We will have links, so you can also get in contact with them just by clicking the links.
Cool.
Did I cover everything?
I think so.
Okay.
Is that's how they can contact you? The YouTube, detaching, all the good knowledge that we hold in our books here.
Yep. And that coaching also, I do one-on-ones on Calling in the One as well. So and that way we can really work through it more specific to what's going on in your life. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. You can also find us on Sacred Uprising on Facebook. There are links all over on my personal page. You can also find us on Sacred Uprising Conference and Sacred Uprising Institute. Thank you so much. Love you guys. We will be back on Monday, and on Monday I will do a quick video for the lineup of the videos for next week. And then Tuesday we are going to hit the ground running once again. Woo-hoo! All right. Well, thank you so much, and have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.